Sam was like a chicken with its head cut off, running to grab his classmate as the tsunami approached. He dashed into the library with superhero-like bravery, and thankfully, despite the critical situation, everyone managed to avoid disaster for the time being. But the real trouble was just beginning, because Czech's climate model had some shocking news not delivering packages. A couple of superstorms were about to bomb New York in the next few days. After the storms, New York might face a new ice age. Trapped in the library, Sam had zero signal. He took a leap of faith and rushed to the phone booth downstairs, relieved that the phone still worked, and quickly called Dad. After learning Sam was alright, Czech and his wife frantically told him to stay indoors. Czech mentioned a giant storm was about to kiss New York, and the eye of the storm felt like a giant refrigerator. If unfortunately caught in the eye of the storm, remember to find anything that burns to keep yourself warm. Czech told his son to hang in there, he'd figure out a way to find him. Unfortunately, just as Sam was reflecting on his father's promise, the water came. Unable to get a response, Mom fell apart, and Czech could only offer comfort. The female classmate was worried sick about Sam. Luckily, Sam eventually surfaced, while Czech was gearing up to rescue the situation when the nation's meteorological head caught up with him. Turns out, the president wanted to hear his valuable insights. Meanwhile, the library suddenly heard some strange sounds. Curious, people rushed to the window, witnessing a massive workboat battling upstream. The scene was so awe-inspiring, it was like a blockbuster movie. When they heard that ice and snow would cover the entire northern hemisphere, people were shocked, asking one after another how to deal with this winter's coming. Czech clearly drew a line on the map, indicating that all residents south of this line needed to evacuate immediately, or else they might face extremely grave consequences, truly unbearable to imagine. The vice president raised an eyebrow, questioning why they should evacuate half the country based on a scientist theory. Clearly, that seemed incredibly irresponsible. The snow was coming fast. Czech chose not to give up easily. He was safe in Waterfall State, while his son was in Manhattan. As the storm hit, NYC went dark and was instantly covered in snow. Trying to escape the city, people fled in the snow. The library folks decided to leave too, but Sam wanted to stop them. But unfortunately, no one cared. There was no food, and nobody wanted to stick around. Eventually, it was just Sam, his classmate, the librarian, and the homeless guy left behind. To stay warm, Sam took everyone to the fireplace room to burn books, but the librarian shot him down. "You want to freeze to death?" Left the librarian speechless. Everyone began searching for burnable books like philosophy, law, and science ones. Even the Bible was pulled into the discussion. Fortunately, they came across a snack vending machine just in time. When deciding which book to burn first, they bickered, but ultimately agreed that survival was more important. Jack planned to go to New York alone, but his colleagues insisted on tagging along, so they geared up. Under the president's orders, people began rushing south, only to be blocked by the Mexican government. Many started to make illegal crossings in a desperate attempt. Jack and the others were stopped by the blizzard not far from New York. They had to hold, but nobody knew where the snow ended. Soon after, a colleague fell through broken glass, thus safety ropes held him. Pulling him up was a struggle. Even after severing the snow bridge, the weight of the other person still bore down heavily on him, making it difficult to move. Ultimately, he resolutely made the decision to cut the rope. Jack helplessly watched his colleague fall. Meanwhile, Sam kept the cold at bay with some books. However, his crush was in trouble due to an infection from her previous injury. Blood poisoning could result in sepsis. If medication is not administered promptly, she would be reaching the end of her life, saying goodbye. The lady librarian mentioned they needed medication, but in this situation, who knows where to look? Someone proposed that the ship next door might have a pharmacy, so Sam and his two buddies decided to check it out. Meanwhile, up in space, astronauts noticed the storm clouds were gathering, and just watching felt exhausting. One of the storm's eyes was about to hit New York in an ire, plunging multiple areas into utter cold. Czech moved forward with determination. However, unfortunately, a colleague collapsed beforehand. Meanwhile, Sam and his team had successfully reached the workboat. Luckily, they found the medical room and got the medication, but wolves had also shown up. A wolf had actually bitten down hard on one guy's head. Sam swiftly used a flashlight to free him from the dangerous situation, but unfortunately, they were still trapped inside the room. So, Sam decided to venture out to distract the wolves to let his classmates escape. He climbed through a window to another room and started yelling to get the wolves' attention. Seeing the wolves diverted, the classmates hurriedly left the room and finally regrouped outside to head back. Just then, the eye of the storm arrived, and Chick sensed something was off from the start. As the wind stopped, he quickly tossed his colleague into the ventilation duct. Suddenly, another gust hit, and Sam felt something was wrong too. The top of the tower was being covered in ice and snow, and it swiftly spread downwards in an instant. Everyone started dodging and running for their lives. This running race was a bit unusual.